Hi, Albert here with Mainland Cycle Center, and I'm going to do a little video today kind of showing you the differences between the KTM 350 XCF-W and a KTM 350 XCF. And a lot of these differences will apply across the line, meaning a 250 XCF and a 250 XCF-W, or a 450 XCF and a 450 XCF-W. And the KTM line can get very confusing if you're not familiar with these bikes, for sure, if you're just getting into looking. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just point out some of the physical differences between these bikes for starters. So the biggest thing, when we look at the names on these bikes, this is a 350 XCF, XC meaning cross-country race bike, F meaning four-stroke. And then this bike is a 350 XCF-W. The biggest thing that the W means is wide ratio transmission. Okay, so that's kind of the biggest difference in the motors and their power. But there's some other differences also. The W model has a kickstart lever, where our XCF model does not. So both the bikes are electric start, but with the W model you also have a backup kickstarter. The other difference, the biggest difference really on these two bikes besides the transmissions, is going to be suspension. With your XC model, XCF model, this is got a linkage suspension, so you've got this linkage right down here. You can see the shock. On our W model here, it has what KTM calls their PDS suspension, and the shock is connected directly to the swing arm. And so one of the advantages to that is you don't have this shock and linkage hanging down here below the bike. So if we're going over obstacles like rocks and logs and things like that, you have a little more ground clearance here, and so that linkage is not going to get hung up. So that's one of the differences there in that system and why they do that. So, and everybody has a different opinion based on what they like, of course. But so when we look at suspension wise, they have different front forks on them. Our XCF-W model has the WP inverted front forks, but this one does not have the separate function forks, and so you'll do all of your adjustments. Each fork you can have a compression and rebound adjustment on each fork. On our XCF model, it has the separate function fork. So on this shock, this front fork, on the right side, it's got a little red knob, and you adjust the rebound dampening. And then on the left side, it has for the compression dampening. So you do the white knob to adjust the compression dampening. The other thing you notice while we're looking here at the front of the bike is the triple clamps. This has CNC machined billet triple clamps versus a cast aluminum triple clamp. And so it may be a little hard to tell this video, but these gray triple clamps are thicker, they're bigger, there's more material here versus with the CNC billet triple clamps. And they're probably about the same strength, but the difference is the billet triple clamps are lighter because it's made out of a higher quality grade of aluminum. So because of that, you need less material. So billet triple clamps on the XC model and cast aluminum triple clamps on the W model. And then of course the W model comes standard with the headlight. The XCF model does not. And you can take, if you're not into the headlight but you like the wide ratio transmission, you can put a regular number plate on there and take this headlight off if you're not riding at night, you don't want that headlight, you don't want to break it or something like that. It's very easy to change that out. The W model also has instrumentation here, so you've got a speedometer, hour meter, odometer, all that stuff built in here. On your XCF model, you do not have that instrumentation. Okay, handlebars are a little different. This has the necking tapered aluminum handlebars. They're just a different brand. These, I believe, are made by Giant aluminum triple clamp. Both bikes have the adjustable handlebar position, so you can move your handlebars forward and back up to 4 positions. You can flip these clamps, plus there's 2 positions to mount here on both bikes. So adjustable handlebars, both models. Let's see what else. A wide ratio transmission, the suspension, the kickstart. A little bit of difference in the exhaust. This one has this canister on top there. Just gives a little more torque down low, where on the W model you don't have that. Just a little difference in how the bikes are tuned. Both bikes are liquid cooled and fuel injected. Your W model comes with a radiator fan, because you might be doing slower, tighter woods racing and not having as much air moving across the radiators. On your XCF model, no cooling fan. It is an option. I believe you can add it there. Let's see what our other differences are. So suspension, front and rear differences there. Both bikes have Brembo brakes. Both bikes come with the hand guards. You know, and it really just comes down to what you prefer. It's not that bike is better than this bike. It really comes down to what kind of riding are you going to do and what's going to fit you and be the most comfortable. And it's really, it may be that you can't, that some riders are not going to go as fast on that bike or be as comfortable on that bike as they will be on this bike. And so it just really comes down to what fits your skill and your riding, type of riding you'll do, your riding style. So a lot of people get confused and they think, oh, this is the one I want to buy because this is the better bike. Well, it may or may not be the better bike for you. These bikes are probably priced almost identical in price. There's not much difference at all, I would guess. So it really comes down to what works for you. Well, anyway, hopefully this video will give you just a little bit of idea of the differences between XCFs and XCWs as far as the mechanical differences on them, and maybe clear some of that up for some folks. I know that that gets very confusing, and we get a lot of questions about that here at the store on our showroom floor. But all right. We are Mainland Cycle Center. We're located in Marque, Texas. We're about 30 minutes south of downtown Houston, just off of I-45. You can find us online at mainlandcyclecenter.com, by phone at 409-948-4969. And we would just love it if you'd give us a call, shoot us an email, or even better, come by and see us in person here at Mainland Cycle Center, where we'd love to help just any way that we can. Hey, thanks for watching.